Now the latest developments on the fragile ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. President Trump saying that if Hamas does not return all hostages by noon Saturday, he'll call for the ceasefire to be canceled.
If all of the hostages aren't returned by Saturday at 12 o'clock, I think it's an appropriate time. I would say cancel it and all bets are off and let hell break out. I think a lot of them are dead. I think a lot of the hostages are dead.
Jewish-American commentator Dov Hikind applauded Donald Trump for taking steps to destroy Hamas.
Amazing. Donald Trump has just issued an ultimatum to the barbarians of Hamas that the hostages, all of them, must be released by this Saturday at 12 o'clock, or all hell will break loose. And the Israeli military will do what it needs to do, and that is to destroy Hamas. Amazing, our president, who gets it, who understands the animals, the barbarians of Hamas.
Trump's ultimatum comes after he had a fruitful meeting with Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House last week, where they reinforced their commitment to their alliance.
You are the greatest friend Israel has ever had in the White House.
Now the latest developments on the fragile ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. President Trump saying that if Hamas does not return all hostages by noon Saturday, he'll call for the ceasefire to be canceled.
And this comes after Hamas said it would delay hostage releases, claiming Israel violated the ceasefire deal. Fox 5's Sharon Crowley is here with the very latest. Sharon?
Yeah, Natasha and Steve, President Trump essentially saying time is up. He wants all the hostages to be set free, and not just a few at a time. He again threatened if this doesn't happen by noon Saturday, there would be, quote, hell to pay. He did not define, however, what that would mean. Now, the emaciated condition of 3 hostages just released, prompting the president's remarks. This fragile ceasefire is supposed to enter the next phase soon, with more captives, including Americans, let go. Hamas, though, now threatening to postpone the release of more hostages. Despite his threats, President Trump went on to say ultimately what happens next is up to the Israeli prime minister.
There were reports there that Hamas was going to stop releasing Israeli hostages, and what was your reaction?
I think it's terrible. Look, I looked at the hostages that came in, and they're emaciated. It looked like something out of the 1930s. It's an absolute disgrace. And I think they saw the way the world viewed it, and they're looking for a reason not to send more, because they're all, you take a look at that, it looks like it was a concentration camp, which essentially it was. It looks like they came out of the Holocaust. And what a sad thing. One of them was a young man, good-looking guy, a little bit heavier than perhaps he could have been, and now he looks like he's not even recognizable. Not even recognizable.
Is the ceasefire deal at risk of falling apart?
Look, I can tell you that those people have been badly hurt, both mentally and physically. I'm talking about the young women that came out also previously. And I think one of the reasons they're doing this is because they're probably sending the best. What you see is probably the best, because they want to send people that look at least healthy. And that's not healthy. These people have been badly hurt. They've been interviewed by our representatives. They've been interviewed by Israeli representatives, and they're really hurting. They are really hurting, mentally and physically. And I think Hamas is looking at that and saying, well, it's not going to get much better than that, because they probably send out their best as a representative, and they've got more to send out, and they probably feel that they can't do that because it's not going to make them look very good. Well, I would say this, and I'm going to let that because that's Israel's decision, but as far as I'm concerned, if all of the hostages aren't returned by Saturday at 12 o'clock, I think it's an appropriate time. I would say cancel it and all bets are off, and let hell break out. I'd say they ought to be returned by 12 o'clock on Saturday, and if they're not returned, all of them, not in drips and drabs, not 2 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 2. Saturday at 12 o'clock. And after that, I would say all hell is going to break out. And I don't think they're going to do it. I think a lot of them are dead. I think a lot of the hostages are dead. I think it's a great human tragedy what's happened, how people can be that mean to do. I mean, the one guy was laughing when a hostage, he thought his family was alive, found out the family was dead, and his captor, so to speak, started laughing because he thought it was so funny. You know, this is a different group of people. No, I would say Saturday at 12, we want them all back. I'm speaking for myself. Israel can override it. But from myself, Saturday at 12 o'clock, and if they're not here, all hell is going to break out.
Mr. President, when you say all hell is going to break loose, are you speaking about retaliation from
You'll find out, and they'll find out too. Hamas will find out what I mean.
Mr. President,
They're going to find out what I mean. These are sick people, and they'll find out what I mean Saturday at 12 o'clock.
but no involvement.
Well, I spoke a few minutes ago with the parents of Omar Nutra, who grew up on Long Island and died on October 7th working as an IDF soldier. They are still awaiting his remains. They had this to say about President Trump's ultimatum.
We're talking about a terrorist organization. They've been holding to our son's remains since October 7th. And it just goes to show you, they're inhumane. They don't follow the morals of Western society. And I think President Trump is showing moral clarity here about what's right and what's wrong.
We all want to get our kids back, our families back, bring it to a closure, bring the deceased to a proper burial in Israel, and for us to continue with our lives. And I think the president understands that and stands strong.